Hello, everybody. Thank you for being there. And today we are going to discuss something very interesting that is basically anonymity on the blockchain. I don't know if you're all familiar with blockchain. I hope so, because we're at the NFC. But basically, we are going to discuss some very simple principles about anonymity on the blockchain and try to understand how, on your daily basis utilization of the technology, you can basically understand what you are doing from a privacy perspective. So, 3 parts of that. The first one is I'm going to highlight with you all why you're not anonymous while you're using the blockchain technology. Basically, you have been lied to. On the second time, we are going to see what is OPSEC, standing for Operational Security, and we are going to discuss how you can improve that when you use the blockchain. And I will finish by giving you some tools and resources you can use to get more knowledge regarding all of that. You are not anonymous. That's the name of the pitch, because actually that's accurate when you're using the blockchain technology. I'm pretty sure when you discovered the blockchain technologies, everybody pitched at you okay, so it's probably transparent, censorship resistant, that's decentralized, and that's anonymous. Well, in fact, the blockchain technology is not anonymous. It's what we call pseudo-anonymous. Because the real definition of anonymous is no one can know who is using that nickname, who is using that wallet address. But basically, in the blockchain industry, for example, if I'm sending you an invoice and I'm asking you to pay me using cryptocurrencies, I'm disclosing to you my wallet. So you know who I am. You know who is the identity behind that wallet. So you break the anonymity of the blockchain and you go into the pseudo-anonymity of it. Because you, for example, if I send the invoice to you, you know who is behind that wallet. So the first question we can ask ourselves is in the first place, how do we get cryptocurrencies? So I've basically summarized that in 3 options. The first option is you can buy them on an exchange. I'm pretty sure everybody there do that. When you want to buy cryptocurrencies, you go on Binance, Bybit, whatever. And in order to do that, if you do that recently, you have to comply with the KYC, which is basically the know your customer information. So you basically have to provide to Binance your ID, perhaps a proof of residency, something like that. You're providing to Binance personal information. The second options is basically perhaps you're mining cryptocurrencies, you're staking cryptocurrencies, so that's cool. And you're making cryptocurrencies using that system, but at the end of the day, you want to make money using that most of the time. So what you do is you need an exchange to broke all the money you have been making using mining or staking. And so you have to do a KYC. And the last option is you can trade your cash for crypto using peer-to-peer transaction. I hope you're not doing that, because most of the time it's what we call dirty money involved. And I assume no one here is doing that. So most of the time what we just discussed is you all need KYCs when you interact with the blockchain, because you're using Binance to get cryptocurrencies. You're using any kind of exchanges. You're also perhaps making businesses with other corporate institutions, and you're providing them some identity, so they know who you are. They can associate you to a wallet identity. And sometimes people just don't help themselves regarding being private and anonymous on the blockchain. I just want you to be to understand what you're doing when you're using Twitter and crypto, the crypto Twitter. The first stuff is when people are basically flexing their Bored Ape PFP on their Twitter account, they are basically telling to the world, hey guys, this is my wallet address. Look at it. You can basically access all the transactions they have been making since the very beginning of the creation of that wallet. It's not super privacy focused. The second stuff I would like you to understand is it's the same stuff for .eth, the ENS domain protocol. When you're using that, you're basically telling to the world, hey guys, this is my address. So basically, you're also providing them some information about who you are. The blockchain is telling that you're 0x00. Your ENS is telling that you're 0xjordan.eth. And basically, if your name is vitalik.eth on Twitter, it's super easy to find some information about you. The last stuff is many people are just commenting their wallet address in order to get whatever, an airdrop, being able to be eligible for, I don't know, the crypto space. And basically, that's not helping you either, because you're using your Twitter profile, where it may have some personal information about you. You connect it publicly to your wallet. You're breaking the anonymity on the blockchain. You're being 100% pseudo-anonymous. And if I ask you your private like banking credentials, would you give them to me? I don't think so. So why people are just like giving their wallet address like it was nothing? That's actually a very big question. Yeah, that was the next slide. So something else you have to keep in mind is like when you interact with the Web3, you are not only interacting with the Web3, you are also interacting with the Web2. Web3 is just a layer of internet, and in order to access the Web3, you have to access the Web2. So the first step is like, you interact with a website when you want to connect your wallet. I want to buy that NFT on OpenSea, I connect my wallet, probably my MetaMask, my Ledger, or whatever, to OpenSea. So when I'm doing that, OpenSea is collecting my IP address and probably my browser informations. Like every website today are doing that, you know? That's why we created GDPR in Europe, based on that. You also communicate your IP, your IP to blockchain nodes. Like when you're using MetaMask with the default settings, you're using MetaMask nodes from Infura that are basically able to collect your IP address. It's not on the blockchain. Like no one can find your IP address just using the blockchain, but Infura has probably a log of your address. Actually, it's not probably, they do have a log of your IP address. So what if I show you instead of explaining it to you? This is just a little use case. Perhaps you have heard about that, you know, that game, The Lost Wallet, that the organization has been like creating. So you can basically win a CryptoPunk, that is pretty cool actually, by successfully making some quests in order to get like all the seed phrase of the wallet hosting the punk. Okay, that's cool. So basically, how can we know? Let's pretend we don't know who's behind that project. How can we identify super easily, just using like the blockchain technology and Twitter and some other open access stuff, who's behind that wallet? So on the right, you can discover like the Twitter profile of the Lost Wallet, and they publicly associate leviator.is, so the ENS, to the operation. So you can just basically go on Etherscan, which is like the blockchain explorer, and what you can figure out is like this wallet, leviator.is, is effectively owning the CryptoPunk. And you can have access to all the prior transactions of that wallet. Okay, so what's next? This is a tool called Breadcrumbs. So it's basically like an advanced tools for like exploring the blockchain. What you have to understand is like every stuff you are making on the blockchain is immutable. It will be there forever. So blockchain reader, like this tool, can help you to understand what transactions behind a wallet are. So if we look at there, we look at the leviator.is, which is basically the wallet we are investigating on. We can see that there is another wallet that basically founded him with is. We can see that also on the previous slide, there is no exchanges that send money to that wallet. So actually, this wallet is probably the wallet owning also this one. Okay, and when we look at it, we look at the previous transactions of that wallet, we are able to super easily spot nftmorning.nft as an unstoppable domains connected to that wallet. I know it's rude, guys. I mean, like this kind of graph are kind of complicated, but like they are super like interesting to discuss. So you can also find other elements like, you know, is there like some dark money coming from like crypto scams or like OFAC sanctioned address or whatever. You can also have like all the historic of the transactions that have been involved with that wallet. But the most important stuff is like when we go check on Twitter, NFT Morning, we find that Twitter profile, okay? And we see owned by John Carp and Rem Perez, okay? So logically, what we do is like we click on John Carp, and then we can access the fact he's actually owning this PFP, and he's claiming the token ID of both PFPs, allowing us to go on OpenSea, check the token ID of that wallet. It's matching, okay? And then we can get the wallet's address owning that NFT. We go on that, and we are able to map that there is a direct connection between the John Carp wallet and the NFT Morning wallet. The conclusion of that, we can hardly assume at this point, is that John Carp is behind the Lost Wallet. Like, I mean, like we all know that obviously because first of all, it's illegal to dox people like I just did. John told me you can do that, but basically, using 10 minutes and only public information, I was able to understand who is behind the wallet. And actually, if it was that easy with John, it's because it's someone tweeting a lot, being super active on the blockchain, having like some influence in the space. But you know, I'm pretty sure like even normal people who are not influencers are doing that. They are like using their Twitter profiles, they put their token ID from the collection they are owning, and so on their bio. So the logic we just used is actually one you can basically do with almost half of the crypto Twitter. Another interesting study case is for the brands, you know, ENS domains like the .es, the fact I can own my Jordan.es, someone is owning like Gucci.es. It's the same stuff. Like, it's called cyber squatting. It's illegal, actually, you know. If you want to buy Nike.com, you cannot. It's illegal. It's IP issues. But in the blockchain, the issue we have is like, ENS domain is a decentralized protocol. So no one can censor the DNS that are actually deployed on the blockchain. So this is just like a screenshot to show you, like, for example, if we take the Nike.is example, there is more than 1K ENS includes Nike, so making probably counterfeits of Nike, associated to 28 ETH of volume. So you know, like, there is a real market of counterfeits. When we go check who is the guy behind like Nike.is, okay, we find some interesting informations. We find that the guy is called on the blockchain sunnybay.is, and he's actually like having a lot of ENS domains locked. Okay, so it's someone active since the very beginning of the creation of ENS domains, and the guy is basically cyber squatting a lot of stuff. Okay. So when we try to look on Twitter using a social-based approach to identify who's behind the wallet, we discover that there is not a lot of information about sunnybay.is, except some guys like tweeting about him like if he was a god. I don't know. But basically, you have only that. When you look on OpenSea, the guy basically connected with OpenSea because he edited his profile, and he chose to display only some NFTs. So the guy already connected to OpenSea once. We know that. Okay, so I mean, this one is perhaps a little bit tough, but that's interesting. How can we identify who's the guy actually making something illegal by cyber squatting Nike.is? And this is what we call the exchange-based approach. So we are going to map every transactions connected to this guy, who is actually sunnyday.is, and we are going to check where the guy interacted with someone who knows who he is. And when I say that, I mean like crypto exchanges. Remember, we discussed like the fact you need to provide a KYC to Binance in order to use Binance services. Well, actually, we can see that he interacted with Huobi, Binance, and FTX. So we can hardly assume that this guy, the guy cyber squatting Nike.is, Binance, FTX, or Huobi, one of them knows his real identity. All the point is like, this guy tried to be smart by cyber squatting a big brand, probably wanting to make like a big sale to Nike and be rich with that. Actually, it's probably fucked because like one of such exchanges know who he is. So you're not anonymous on the blockchain. That's the point. This is just to show you like it's super also easy to highlight all the transactions using like some tools. This one is called Horus. We built it in our company Enephtys. And yeah, the fact is like you are not once again anonymous on the blockchain. So the question is like, how can you be anonymous on the blockchain? Well, there is no secrets, but there is a notion that is called operational security. So operational security is a security and risk management process that prevents sensitive information from falling into the wrong hands. The creation of that word, it was during the Vietnam War, actually, during a report called the Purple Dragon Report for the notice. So it's about 5 steps to understand, and actually that's pretty easy. The first one is like, which kind of personal information I'm using and I'm disclosing to people while I'm interacting with the blockchain. Well, on a daily basis, you're providing your wallet address. But when you're doing all the stuff we mentioned on Twitter, like flexing your PFP, connecting it to like your ENS domain, you're providing more information. You're providing like all your ecosystem of information from Twitter. The second step is like identify possible threats. Okay, so I'm Jordan and basically no one. I don't have the same level of threats than a brand, for example. I don't have the same level of brands than a guy, an officer at the CIA. We don't have the same level of risk while we interact with the blockchain. And we have to identify them. Then we have to categorize all of them in order to say, like, okay, this one is something that might happen with a high chance. This stuff is like probably never going to happen, in order to really understand what is a risk model, a threat model. We don't have all the same threat model. That's the fact. We don't need all the same operational security system. We don't all need the same like operational security measures on a daily basis. Then you analyze your vulnerabilities, and then you set up a plan to mitigate all these risks. Okay? Sounds like something basic from the audit world, but actually that's the same for operational security. So that was the theory. So how you effectively improve your Web 2 and Web 3 OPSEC while you interact with the blockchain. So there is some basic stuff from the Web 2. First of all, we said, like, OK, OpenSea can know who is connected to that wallet because they have access to your IP address. Use a VPN. That's basic. Don't use NordVPN, please. Use something that is actually really like focused on your privacy, like Proton VPN. Use permission systems for your files while you use a computer. That's kind of obvious. Use a password manager. Don't save your passwords on Chrome, please. Use something robust like Dashlane or whatever. Use privacy-focused browser like Brave or Tor. Brave is actually also very crypto-friendly. You can access a lot of stuff from the crypto space using Brave or Tor if you're like using very sensitive informations. Use a privacy-focused search engine. Don't use Google, actually. That's collecting also a lot of information from you. Use something like Quent. And please, always, always, always enable the two-factor authentications. That's not for nothing, that exists. And yeah, the mojo is like very simple. Don't give your data, they are precious. Like I told you like some slides ago, if I ask you your bank account ID, for example, you're not going to provide it to me. So why are you providing your wallet like it was nothing? There is a lot of value to extract from your wallet ID. There is a lot of information or value to extract from your Twitter profile. Don't do that, actually. And regarding the OPSEC in the Web3, it's more like specialized, it's more like technical, but like you can use wallets that are actually privacy focused. One of them is Block Wallet. I'm using it a lot. The team behind is cool. You can use a privacy focused RCP instead of Infura or whatever. You can use the one Nefture. You can use different wallets for different use cases. So if, for example, if I have to interact with you, I'm going to use a very new wallet with only one transaction, and then I'm going to use different wallets. So you cannot understand that I interacted with you before. Don't use ENS, or use them if you understand all the stuff we have been previously discussing. That's the point. Like, using ENS is cool. I love to flex my ENS, but like, it's complicated to keep your identity private. So I'm just going to finish giving you like some tools and resources. The tools I've been using to map the transactions is called Breadcrumbs. It's free. The people behind are really, really cool, and they are very talented. If you don't have the money for chain analysis, go on that. Bubble Maps is also a very interesting tool to be able to understand how the transactions are working on a token. I can advise it to you. And a Twitter account called Officer's Notes that is actually super, super cool if you want to know more about privacy on the blockchain ecosystem. And I think that's all. Thank you so much for your time. Yeah. Like he was looking at me like, please finish. I don't know if I can take a question. Can I? Yeah.
Is there any service for instance, avoiding tracing the origin of ENS domain? If there is something like mixing for ENS domains, just to avoid tracking the origin wallet.
So that's actually a fair point. You can mix cryptocurrencies in order to buy an ENS, but actually people don't know how to use to mix cryptos. Most of the people think they can just use like Tornado Cash and it's done, it's magic. Actually, I know people that break Tornado Cash mixing just by paper maths, you know, because actually, no, I cannot explain you how to use Tornado Cash, but like, no, most of the people using that are like bad at using them, and tools like Breadcrumbs, chain analysis are breaking Tornado Cash mixing.
Okay. Thank you.
That's good. Someone else? Thank you so much.
Tira nummer 4.